Hi, I'm Mary Miller, Congresswoman from the Illinois 15, your citizen representative, and I'm here with Congressman Andy Biggs, my friend and mentor here from Arizona, and we're here to talk a little bit about the crisis at the border. So Andy, you've been to the border. What have you seen?
Well, so most recently what I saw was the build up to the surge. At the time we were there last, they were still only apprehending 3,000 people a day. When you say only 3,000 a day, you're talking 90,000 a month. But they were sending back more than 160,000 people a month.
Wow. Returning
to Mexico. Since then, Biden has come out with he's gotten rid of the remain in Mexico policy. He's gotten rid of the agreements that we had with Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador to keep people there. So he's changing the asylum, and now we're back to catch and release, Mary.
Wow.
And so you see now well over 5,000 people a day are encountering our CBP agents along the border, illegally entering between ports of entry, because that's where CBP works. And so what that means is the biggest number ever was in 2019, May, 156,000 apprehensions. We're going to be right at that, maybe just a little bit fewer than that for March. But this is the part of what we like to call the busy season, and it's going to be a lot more folks coming.
So this is pretty much an invasion on our southern border, advertised and facilitated by our president, the first president in our history that has facilitated illegal immigration. And they're, I believe, quite hypocritical in light of the fact that we've built a wall around the People's House here with razor wire and police, every 6 feet or so.
That's right. Yeah, lots of military, lots of fence. And when President Trump was building the fence, you remember they would always say, this is an 18th century technology, it won't work. But oddly speaking, people who live along the border, they will tell you it was working. And now we have massive holes in our fencing, and we actually took down some of we had 4-strand barbed wire fencing in some place. They've taken down that, they've taken down some other metal fencing that we had, because they're getting ready to put up the actual 30-foot bollard fencing, and they build roads. And guess what you got now? No fencing, now you have roads, and as one Border County sheriff said, this is like a super highway for illegal immigration. So that's what's going on.
And we don't know who's coming in, what their intentions are, or what they're bringing. I mean, we know that child sex trafficking and they're bringing in drugs, weapons. I mean, here they are trying to deter law-abiding American citizens from being able to bear arms, and yet we're allowing the border crossers to possibly be carrying arms or weapons of mass destruction. We know that there have been some terrorists caught at the border.
Right, that's right, Mary. So you've had, about a month ago you had 11 Iranian nationals caught in Arizona, and then you've had an additional 4 folks that were on the terrorist watch list to come in. And every year, illegally crossing in the country, you have people from over 130 different nations. I think last year was around 145. So you have this going on, and you can't get Secretary Mayorkas to even say it's a crisis. And what we have is we have got people who live in these border communities, and they're being overwhelmed because they're doing a catch and release program. What we mean by that is they catch these folks. There's no place to put them. They give them effectively a parole, or they may claim asylum. So they give them a document saying you can go work in this country and you need to be back to court at this date. And that date may be 2 or 3 years away.
And a small percentage of them return for their court dates. And in addition, right. We know that a lot of them are entering without being tested for COVID, right. But then a significant percentage of them, I think I heard 25% of the ones tested are positive for COVID. And we are moving them into the interior of our country. So
Right.
the ultimate hypocrisy, the rest of us, we've had to close our businesses, our kids aren't in school, our social activities have been, turned off or limited, and here we're allowing this to happen. And I just think it's such a shame because here President Trump, Michael Cloud brought this up, President Trump inherited a problem, President Biden inherited a solution, but their hatred for President Trump is causing them to be so irrational. And just like, I think you and I want to be solution oriented. We want to build on what the people that have been here before have done that's good for the American people, that causes us to have social and economic stability. But all they can think of is dismantling anything that President Trump was successful at, but it's really quite a shame. So
You're exactly right, Mary, and I view there's so many reasons why they're doing this, but first and foremost is this insatiable hatred to Donald Trump toward the former president, and they don't like anything he did. But I will tell you, from a guy who gets down to the border often, with his policies, there was quiescence. It was calm, relative calm on the border. You still had people coming into the country. We still had issues that needed to be resolved, but it was so much improved over even the Obama era, and also what we're seeing now, night and day. And it's almost like you turned it on January 20th, and you really did. A year ago or so, Joe Biden, when he was campaigning, he said, we think everybody should come in, we should grant asylum. Some people cynically think that the Democrats are doing this because they want a new voting bloc to come in. I think that's cynical, but they may be accurate. Others cynically believe, and I think this may be accurate too, they don't like the nation state. They don't like America, but they don't like the concept of a nation state, so they want an absolute open borders policy. So there's a lot of philosophical reasons that they may want it, but it all boils down to the same thing. It's working to the detriment of you and me. You're in the interior,
right,
but you guys are impacted and affected just
exactly
like we are.
Well, we have crimes committed by people coming here illegally, and they're taking advantage of our social systems, social programs that taxpayers have to pay for. And then another thing that I haven't heard people bring up is the impact that this is having on people that want to come here. Really, the whole world wants to come here because we truly are the land of opportunity, and they are coming here because they want to add to our country. They have skills and things that they can bring, and we want them to come. But this is causing problems for them and slowing down their processes. So, we're a nation of laws. It's what's made our country great, and everybody knows that if you don't have laws and you don't have a border, you aren't a country. So, my 8-year-old grandson would know that. So maybe they need to go back to school.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you so much for visiting with me.
It's good visiting with you, Mary.